We're moving to Alaska. Let's talk about that. So there's a lot of reasons why we're moving to Alaska. Too many to realistically enumerate in a single video. So after graduating university, I started saving up money for a house. We're in the Portland area. It's quite expensive. And this was right around when COVID hit. And as everyone knows, the price of houses went up drastically. And despite having a six-figure job, the price of a house and a down payment was increasing faster than I could save up. So as you might imagine, that's very demoralizing. And I feel like a lot of young adults have the same sentiment. They've basically lost hope in having a financially stable future or, achieving the American dream. But despite the rising housing costs, I still was looking around in my area around Oregon. I was even considering moving to Washington State, across the Columbia River. I was specifically looking for a place without income tax. Once you start making six figures, it is a chunk of change that you're giving away to your local government. So I considered Washington State, Vancouver. There's Kelso, Washington, around Longview. But even up there, housing during COVID went from around $400,000 houses, and they shot up to like $800,000 to $1 million in just a couple of years. It's incredible. Combine that with the recent anti-2A legislation that was passed in Washington, I just didn't see that as an appealing long-term option. So Washington State was off the table. I considered moving to a rural area in Oregon, but Oregon has a 9% income tax, and they also have recent anti-2A legislation with Measure 114. And the Oregon state and local governments are pretty corrupt, in my opinion. I think they waste a lot of tax dollars. Roads are left with potholes and congestion and just a lot of mismanagement, and that's not even getting into the increase in crime and the local government's inaction in handling the problem. So after considering those two options, I started looking at more rural states, such as Idaho and Montana. Both were serious contenders, although as far as I'm aware, both states have a sales tax, which in my opinion is better than income tax, but after you've already earned a lot of money while paying income tax, it doesn't make a lot of sense to then move to a state that charges you sales tax, because then you're paying tax on both ends. And despite the many benefits of Idaho, it has great beauty, has a much less intrusive government than Oregon and Washington. However, it's still not libertarian enough for me. There's still a fairly large state government. They want you to ask for permission to do stuff on your own property. So despite Idaho and Montana being strong options, I decided to keep looking. And I stumbled upon Alaska as an option. My dad had been watching a lot of Alaska videos. There's a lot of content creators that post their experiences in Alaska. Notably, Simple Living Alaska. Very good channel that we enjoy watching. And watching those videos gave us the courage to explore Alaska as an option. So I started looking into all the perks of Alaska. No income tax, no sales tax, except in some of the towns and cities. Their property taxes are low, their land value is low, and the government itself is very small and libertarian. I like to say that it's the last state in the union that it truly embodies what America is supposed to be. They have low property taxes, cheap land, small government, They don't require you to ask permission to do things on your own property. They also appear to have less corruption. We visited there last year, and the roads were immaculate. I mean, of course, they're built to higher standards to withstand the harsh winters. If the state of Alaska can get away without charging income tax or sales tax and have low property taxes and still be able to provide great infrastructure for the community, it just puts other states to shame that are charging 9% income tax or 6% sales tax. It just changes your perspective on wasteful government spending. In addition, Alaska respects your constitutional rights. They're very pro 2A. They have constitutional carry. You can carry a concealed firearm without a permit, which is very necessary in Alaska because wildlife can literally come out of nowhere. In addition to all that, of course, there's Alaska's great nature and beauty. Like I said, we visited last year in May, and we were astounded by just the incredible mountain ranges, wildlife, all the great and many lakes, and we look forward to fishing and hunting to sustain ourselves in the coming years. So a little over a year ago, I asked my family if they would move there, if they would move to Alaska with me to build an off-grid, sustainable homestead. I had watched my brother and sister work minimum wage jobs and see the majority of their income go to rent every month. Thousands of dollars just blow away in the wind. And they expressed the feeling of no future prospects, no chance at the American dream, or no chance at financial security, that they were stuck in the rat race, living day to day, going to a job just to survive. So after I proposed the idea of moving to Alaska, they were quite interested. My sister Ashley was on board with the idea immediately. My brother Matthew was a little hesitant, but that's because he's worried about the cold and the mosquitoes, which are both valid concerns. So the purpose of this YouTube channel is to basically document our adventure, provide the cost of everything for educational purposes, and to just have a lot of fun.
Yep.
We're here today at the cargo trailer. We're getting everything ready to go. We only have a couple weeks left. We're out here playing Tetris. We're trying to pack every crack and crevice here, getting the most out of the space.